I was approached by Alexis Ramirez with the idea of being part of his world for the Were Creature videos. I actually am the one who created the shadow monster and the lore behind this character and what was going on with her. I wanted her to be a reluctant monster. She doesn't want to transform into this creature. But once she is transformed, she's like, ah, and then will suck out your soul, pretty much. So I have a soft spot for reluctant monsters, and I've always wanted to play one. So that's what I tried to bring to the role. And when I came in, I really didn't know what to expect. I'd never done a shoot where I had any sort of prosthetics really, or like claws, or even the contact lenses, the colored contact lenses. I'd never done that before. So when I got to the set, that was the first time that I'd ever tried putting in effects lenses, and the ones that I ended up using were not the ones that I had originally intended to use. I think the ones that I was originally intending to use were like these full sclera bright green. I don't remember exactly, but they were full sclera, and I tried really, really hard to get them into my eyes. But I have some of the world's most sensitive eyes, and the thing is, they should have fit because my eyes are kind of big, and it wasn't a size reason, it was just an allergic rejection. So I ended up not using that. I ended up using the smaller white contact lenses, which I think gives the character a pretty spooky look. I love the idea of being able to wear full sclera black lenses. I think that would have been a really cool look for the character, or mirror lenses, but unfortunately I have my own physical limitations. So another aspect was the claws. Those were a lot of fun because my character grows these claws, and they wouldn't stay on my hands. So it was just one of those funny things during a production shoot where we had to keep pausing and I had to keep sticking them back on and sticking them back on. And at one point during my transformation, I got so into it because I'm one of those, like, when I'm playing a role like that, that's just sort of emotionally and physically intense, I really kind of sink myself into what's going on, and I love that. I love playing roles that make me feel something. So I scratched myself up. Like the scratches you see on my neck, that is real. That's not an effect. I did that completely by accident as I was raging out. So you know, a little bit of added realism for the character and the transformation. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to revisiting the character again in the future. I have to be honest, I was called in first for the first video shoot, and then several months or maybe even a year later, I can't exactly recall, I was told that the first one was doing pretty well, it was getting views, and I was asked to return with the Shadow Monster character and do another short film. The two shoots really kind of overlap in my mind. I do not remember which one was which, and I don't really recall the difference between the two shoots. The main thing I do remember is that for the second one, I had my own custom fangs, which were smaller and more delicate than the fangs that I used in the original. And it didn't actually translate as well. I love my beautiful little vampire fangs, but they didn't work quite as well for this character. Kind of the big scary ones were the way to go. So that's the main difference that I remember. I remember in the second shoot, the character was taking pills, and it was all improv. I improvised the entire thing. The character was taking pills to placate the shadow monster, and it was revealed that it was actually placebo. They weren't doing anything at all. My idea behind that, which I'd like to develop more, is that this character was actually prescribed more like an antipsychotic, because her psychiatrist assumes that she's mentally ill, coming in and saying, I transform into this shadow creature every month or so. Like every, the character's counting down the days on a calendar, in what I have planned. So she's actually been prescribed something that completely does not take care of the issue of her transforming into a shadow monster. So I definitely want to explore that aspect, and I like the idea that she kind of thinks she might be losing her mind and that none of this is real, and is really hoping that once she finds out that it's not a pill to take away the actual shadow monster problem, she's hoping that an antipsychotic is going to make the issue go away, and really hoping that it is all in her mind. And it turns out that's not the case. In the second one, I had horns, and I designed the horns specifically so that they would fit under my top hat, and they would kind of collapse underneath them when I had the top hat on, and when I took it off, the horns would kind of pop up. I don't think it worked. Sometimes you try things out and they don't work, especially because we were working, it was a lot of improvisation. So we were kind of just shooting ideas, coming up with different things that might make this character cool. Um I actually think that the Shadow Monster Unleashed video is the best, the representation that I like for this character the best. And I think that's the video where like I turn around and the shadow is on the wall like this, and it kind of like the shadow kind of just in this beautiful effect enters my body and I transform. um I like that. I like that version of the character, and I think that's kind of the mm, the final iteration that I want to develop more. So in the future, no horns. I think we tried the horns, didn't work. We tried the little fangs. I think the big fangs kind of work better. I really like the idea of playing with a shadow realm, and that this creature has been kind of latched onto a human being from the shadow realm. This creature is from the shadow realm and kind of latched onto this person and is infecting her. Um, and it's basically like she trades places with her shadow every once in a while and is taken over by this thing. And I feel in my mind I want that shadow realm to be part of the story. And it would be just a very disturbing, distorted place with just like looming shadows, all these different monsters kind of hiding in them, peeking out at you. Lots of crazy angles and buildings. Like if you've ever seen some of the old German expressionist movies, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Just that kind of aesthetic is sort of what I see in my mind for the shadow realm that this creature comes from. And every time that the character Lenora is taken over, her reality kind of distorts to look a little bit like that. So I think it would be really cool if something like that could happen. I can also imagine this story being told as an animation because then there are no limits at all. It's just, I mean, I'm a visual artist, but I don't know how to animate, and it's a process. At the moment, I am working very slowly on a script for XRM Productions for another Shadow Monster project. It goes into a little more detail about the character's day-to-day life, and how she struggles with this creature that takes her over. So really, I've just been so busy with many of my own projects, and I wrote a significant portion of the script, and then I kind of put it on the back burner, and I really just need to bring it to the forefront again so I can finish it, because it's an idea that has been kind of moving around in my head for a while, and I like it. I think it could be a very effective little horror movie, which is what I'm going for. And I like the character of the shadow monster. I think that there's a lot to explore there. I love the idea of kind of exploring a character and their inner demons as separate entities, and sort of how they combine and how the demon torments the character, but also at the same time, the character secretly craves that demon to take her over. So she doesn't have to feel responsible, so she can embrace that inner darkness and just sort of go wild with it. And that's an idea that I feel very connected to because I have a lot of my own shadow monsters that I keep inside, and they come out in my art and my music and the characters I create. Um, so that's pretty much what I go for as an artist, is sort of looking your demons in the face and owning them. And that's kind of the underlying theme of the Shadow Monster.